Oh, so now the recording.
Pretty good.
Doing good. Does anybody have any good news they want to share? I know Sheree has a lot, but I don't know if she can talk about it. So I will just say she's doing a bang up job lately, and she's even helping out us, other agents. So she gets a double gold star this week. But anybody else have any other good news they want to share before I jump into the market? Okay, then. So with the market, hey, we're finally getting active listings coming up. As you can see, our counts are finally up to at least double digits for the last 2 months. We're still anemically low, even from compared to 2 years ago, which was supposed to be a hot market back then. We still had 17,000 listings right about this time. We only have about 11. This crazy thing is we don't have things going under contract, but we still have the same number of sales going on. So there's a lot of stuff that obviously was under contract and maybe finally closing. Typically happens over the summer. As we'll go into a little bit later when we go into the tip of the week, that this is kind of off-season time for at least the Phoenix area when we're in the hotter areas. Main reason being, who the hell wants to go look at a house when it's 110 degrees out and it's a vacant house and they don't turn the AC above 90? So everybody goes in and sweats. Everybody's miserable. Nobody. It's not a fun experience, basically. So sales are going to start coming down, probably start picking back up again once we get closer to September, October, when snowbirds come back, weather starts changing, kids go back into school, parents have more time. Our month supply, thankfully, is almost to 1 month supply, which I can't believe we were saying almost 1 month when we used to think 1.5 months were low. Active listings, price per square foot are coming down because they're getting a little more motivated. They're not selling their house the second they put their house on the market. People are freaking out because, oh my God, it's been 5 days and we still haven't had a showing or an offer, when that's usually typically normal. So prices will start declining just a little bit, probably over time until we get to the new year or even maybe into spring. Once they start evening out and the market starts, normalizing a little bit. To go into a little more detail, here's kind of the market confidence index. We're no longer on these crazy 7s, 6, and 5s. We're getting closer down to the more normal areas, around 300s, where we were right before the pandemic hit. So if you kind of blinked your eyes and from April until now, nothing would really have changed. As far as listing success rates, you kind of start seeing that. Oh, geez, why are we resetting? Once it does actually come back, oh, and I'm a totally different graph now too. Awesome. That wasn't the one I wanted. By price range, as you can see, our listing success rate has dropped over time. We're getting now, that's not pretty much a guarantee that we can sell their home. It's a 99% sure we're going to sell your home kind of thing now, especially if it's under the 500,000 or less. There's barely anybody that fails at those listing success rates. Typically, or I should say, they're only dropping off after you get over 800,000. 2 million, it's getting back to normal around 70% or so. As far as days inventory, just as a quick kind of comparison, where we were back before pandemic-ish area, it was 60 days on market, 2 or 3 months. Comparison wise, Phoenix Gilbert, just as an example, we're still hovering around a month's day on market. So houses are staying on longer. Unfortunately, I don't have price breakdowns for days on market beyond that. They still haven't updated all their data. I don't know why. This is the best one I could find, that if we take out all of our under contracts, our days of inventory are still an anemic 23 value wide. Normally it's supposed to be around the 80s, 80 to 90 days. 3 months is normal of days of inventory. Reason for that, we're just going to go over seasonality really quickly. Of course, our best season is right around our spring months. That's when the majority of all the business starts happening. These things start tapering off. Of course, it's a 30 days trailing indicator. So stuff that went under contract in May, they close in June, and then that's where our sales are. So as we see here, as we go into July, things start tapering off. June, August, September kind of tanks because nothing's been going on for the 2 previous months. It kind of evens out for a while because we have a little tick up. And then everything kind of dies right around the holidays, around Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. That's kind of our sales in Maricopa County. We'll kind of go over the rest of the state and how it compares later. Listing success rate, as I mentioned, normal success rates were around 75% around this time of year. That's what they should be. We're hovering right around 90%. The crazy thing is, we're just about the same as we were right this time of year, 2020, when we kind of came out of the crazy lockdown and everybody started buying. Even though it was summer, there's still a lot of sales going on. Same thing, listings under contract, just showing again different kind of way to look at it. As far as contract ratios, this was our craziest market ever in history, 307 contract ratio. Now we're just down to a normal hot market. So hopefully after the summer season ends, we'll probably maybe see a little tick up on that, but it really depends on what interest rates do and what the rest of the market does. So active listings under contract, hey, at least we're up in the 4,000s now that are available. We will see, of course, Q3, our numbers will start tanking down, as you'll see. Things kind of peak in Q2, taper off Q3, and just kind of die in Q4 and beginning of Q1. Our price per square foot is starting to taper off. Oh, now it's going to reset on me. Around 250 a square foot, kind of what I was going to point out. And then Cromford still hasn't updated their market update summary here for August yet. I don't know, maybe he's on vacation. But basically our sales are up 30%, contracts are way down, and active listings are extremely down. So thing to do, find those houses and people that want to sell. On to national news. I thought this one interesting when I was looking for other statistics. Kind of our annual change in existing home inventory trends. Even in 2019, first half of the year, we were actually increasing our inventory. And then kind of flip-flopped around end of 2019. People stopped buying as much or building as much. And now our housing inventory has just been kind of like a steep dive all the way until now. Finally, we're starting to see that tick up, changing back in the other direction, even nationally. So that's always a good thing. Hopefully that trend continues. The other crazy thing I noticed when I was going through the commissioner's newsletter is that in Oklahoma, they just passed a bill that is now going to become law in November that all wholesalers have to have a license. And I thought that was kind of weird. Why is she bringing this up about Oklahoma in her newsletter? But as they started going into the points about why they're doing this, is because they want, as far as controlling real estate, they get eyes into it. They get some people with some, what they call a mediocre level of competency and understanding of real estate law. So they don't try and take advantage of the consumer. Every month she's been having for the last 3 months actually she had a whole year for the last 3 quarters. She's had little things in there about wholesaling, what to do with wholesaling, how to deal with wholesaling. So my guess is she is probably trying to push this here for Arizona as well. She knows we're very investor friendly, so just putting that out there, especially for Abraham, who unfortunately is not on, but definitely should know about. That might be coming. One other thing, the other thing that the commissioner is big on is Planos. When they're doing their audits, they are definitely dinging all the brokers right now about this. So what this means is whenever you get something under contract, you have to have the listing printed out with showing the Plano. So what this means is if you're doing the listing and you're doing your incomplete, you're doing your owner's signature, shit like this, private version, if you just print just this out, you don't have any of the Plano tax information on it. So you have to attach it separately or as a separate PDF, or I'm still trying to find a way, or once it's actually physically listed, you could do it the same way you do on the buy side. So if it's already on listing and there is an active listing, what you can do is do the print. This current listing, change the version to private, make sure it's the detail report, and all you do is check this tax info box. That's all we need. That's the Plano info. So when you do a print, I'll show you in a second. What the commissioner is looking for in everybody's file is that we have information from the county, and that only comes pulled in through with the tax info, and it basically looks like this. You need these 2 extra pages from Monsoon that goes into the APN, goes into county zoning information, tax deed, all this stuff. That's what they want to see. So that is the one with Plano. So if you get something rejected that says, please put the Plano in, that's what I mean. Anything on the news or that before I move on to the tip of the week?
I actually do have a question, Tim.
Sure.
On that Plano, when it's the buyer side, do they still need to sign it?
They don't need to sign it. It's nice if they do, but basically all we need to see is that it's under contract and all these details,
Okay.
because we have to go back to it later. This has all the information about the other side, so I can see, or we can see, or the broker can see, and also the commissioner can see which U agents were involved, what officers they were, and how to contact them. That's a big thing they're looking for. And then, of course, they're looking for compliance within that, and then also through the Plano, all the other extra data that they need.
Okay, one more question.
Sure.
When it comes to the listing,
Uh-huh.
do they have to sign that before it's active?
It's good to have them sign it before it's active. You can have it signed after it goes active. If that's a really quick listing, you need to get it out like yesterday. But preferable, even in the incomplete, it's a good thing just to get it. It's an easy way to print it out, get their signature on it, and then after it goes active and listing, you can just print out just the tax info or the listing and the tax info and throw it up there. But it's good to show that they agreed to absolutely everything that's in the listing, to show that, hey, I did show it to them. They do understand. They signed off on it. They come back later and say, I didn't tell you to tell them about the blah, blah, blah in the backyard. You're like, well, you signed this on this date. That makes sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Sure. All right. No other questions? All right, let's go into the tip of the week today. How to increase your business in the off season. So Arizona, everybody jokes that we have 4 seasons. Basically, it's okay weather, hot, really hot, and oh my God, are you crazy? When it gets into those oh my God crazies, the hotter areas, this is basically everything on this top right one that you can see the graphic. Everything's kind of on orange and red, where they pretty much don't have a winter. Different thing is, most people in colder areas, they kind of hibernate during the winter. Phoenix and all the other hot areas around here in Arizona, that's kind of the opposite. We all kind of hibernate during the summer. Nobody wants to go out, 110-degree heat. They want to stay where it's nice and cool. This kind of reflects in our sales of the month per month that we kind of went over before. Which it means for us in Phoenix, we kind of have a concentration of when the really on peak season is basically springs and falls. July to September is basically when business falls off. We get a nice little spike, and then when the holidays hit in, boom, everything kind of dies again until the new year. In the colder areas, it's basically just mid-November to February. When it's snowy, things just stop going down. Holidays happen. Nobody wants to deal with, trudging through snow and ice and moving in it, which is always fun too. What this means is most people take this time to either kick back, relax, take vacations, or work on their business. My suggestion is to work on your business, kind of up your presence. This is a good time. As I said, a quote over here from another broker was that a very good way to capitalize on people not actually doing their marketing is you can kind of maybe steal a little bit extra marketing while they're asleep at the wheel. You can dominate a new market. You can dominate a new neighborhood. You can take over a new niche, start exploring different types of real estate you can gather. We talked about forbearance last week. Open houses is another good one. Well, it's like, if I don't have any listings, how can I have an open house? Best way to do for that is you find somebody in your neighborhood that house hasn't moved in over 2 weeks. There's a problem. And you can be a solution for that listing agent. If they don't have time, they're on vacation, they're doing downtime or whatever, just offer to have open house for them. Say, I'm going to go over there on Saturday or Sunday or both. This for you can do in-person and virtual. I definitely recommend doing the virtual, Facebook Live, all that fun stuff. What this does for you is put your face out there, gets it in front of people, especially if you're going to do a lot of it virtually. Reason being is because a lot of people may not be driving by the house in 110-degree heat, but they'll definitely be on their computers and on their devices. So they may see you in the neighborhood. Other thing that people aren't really doing that should be is getting caught up on education. A lot of renewals happen over the summer and definitely at the end of the year. It's time to get on top of those. I know a few people are coming up on those dates. It's a good way to get out there and network too, meet other people, learn new things, check out new technologies, all that kind of stuff to grow your business. And of course, there's even stuff you can do, networking events. This third Friday mixer, I didn't even know that thing was even happening. It's kind of cool. It's pretty laid back. They have drinks, wine, food. You just kind of hang out and talk business. It's just a networking event. Pretty laid back. Meet new people. If you meet other people in the area, they're doing business. Some of them also would need to do real estate. We also talked certifications. We talked about C2EX. There's also a bunch of other ones out there. There's even, I think it's called SFR for foreclosures, if you want to get into that area too. And of course, stuff for buying, selling, and negotiating. My favorite one's a negotiating one. The other thing is go after what most people aren't doing. What I like to do is definitely start focusing more on my investor clients. The best reason is because they're always looking for deals and they like to hunt when nobody else is hunting. So when buyers are taking a back seat, thinking, oh, maybe next year, maybe a few more 6 months, those houses start sitting on the market longer, and that's when more deals can potentially be found. There's lots of investor events. Esri is having one tonight. There's even one that locally I thought was hilarious. Just this title alone caught my eye. Fire your boss, become their landlord. Thought that was cool. They're having on-one meeting tonight. There's also another one I just found, just kind of half searching. Real estate investors beginning to advance. They have lots of people nationwide just jumping in virtually. You don't even have to go there. The other thing that most investors are looking for is how you can help them find them deals. We have our wholesaling division. Abraham can talk to you more about finding off-market deals for them, as well as we can help you find them as well for, if not them, then for Asherkheim Capital. Other thing that you can do that other people aren't doing is looking for investment for yourself. Great time to buy, obviously, if there's less buyers. Things are starting to taper down. Hopefully prices will come in a little more reasonable. But the other thing is to show that you're a very good investor and actually in the industry. Well, for one, if you're renting versus owning, you're not even drinking your own Kool-Aid. I would never even talk to a real estate agent. That's one of the first questions I even asked him before I became an agent was, hey, how many properties do you own? If they didn't even own their own home, I was like, yeah, next. Sorry, investors drink your own Kool-Aid, to know the lingo, talk about investing, just even talking about your own properties. I've talked to my properties, other investors, and they start going, oh, really? You do property management? I didn't know that. Or, oh, really? Which area are you looking in? You're finding deals out in that area? Wow, I want to talk to you. There it goes. Checking in with past clients and their leads. This is a great time to start going through your database. Also, if you start selling people through Chime, start looking at properties. Those are good ones to start checking in with because if they're looking, they're starting to have some interest again. But basically, yeah, real estate is the pipeline. If you don't want your business to die in the next 2 or 3 months, you got to start pumping it up now. Even if leads are tripping off, that means just a little extra work. You can build up your own pipeline faster. Dripping on new drip campaigns. I just kind of threw this little blurb in here of one of the letters I've been sending out to a few clients, talking about the heat, anything I can do to help. Hey, do you want to talk? Just through those 3 points, that's all you need to do. And sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. Other thing you can put out there is about forbearance if you're in them. The other thing I'll put out there also is, did you know you can get onto a home with nothing down? That's another one that seems to catch everybody's eye. So unfortunately, of course, we all know if you're doing seller concessions, that's not going to happen, but there's still DPA that you could still get into the home for almost, 2 to 3% down. Be a little extra available when the other agents obviously are not available. They start looking around, they start calling, and they start looking online. They start clicking on things. If you're extra available and telling people, hey, I'm available all the time, so I'm not going on vacation, et cetera, whatever you want to tell them, just to let them know that you're there. And then there's another one that some people say this is a good time to start getting caught up. So achieving your email inbox, getting spam, just getting it down to 0. I just went through a spam yesterday and found one offer from a month ago that I had never even heard from. So tip to you also, if you're sending out offers, make sure you please at least call or text them as well. You never know when you'll end up in the dreaded spam folder. So final thought, yep, we are in a lull. It's not going to be the end of the world, but it will start picking up here soon. And of course, my favorite quote: "Best time to buy a house is 5 years ago." Everybody always asks me that, and I always say that one, and they're like, "What?" No, the best time to buy is now, because if you bought it now, 5 years from now, you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, that was such a great idea. That's such a great buy." Because property values keep going up, especially in Maricopa. That was kind of the tips. Kind of went through those a little quickly. Any questions on any of those things? All right. Any things or struggles that you're having with your business that we can help you with? Problems, challenges, opportunities you want to share? All right. I'll kill the recording.